Hey everybody, it's Era Invicta here, and I am commentating over some Counter-Strike Source again. I ended up recording about a half hour to 40 minutes of this, and this was just about the only good stretch of gameplay I could get from it. It's rather long, I think it's around 8 minutes or so it's going to be rather big. Also, little heads up, you're going to be seeing a lot of League of Legends from me pretty soon because I just got started getting into that, and I'd like to do some of that on my channel, so it's going to be here soon. Um, yeah, so I'm going to do a horrible segue now into what will be my topic for the day, which is music. And I've been wanting to do a music topic for a while now, and I haven't been able to, sadly, mostly because I would get like a couple minutes into it and run out of ideas. However, recently, something happened to me. You know what that thing is? No, no, you don't, because none of you know me in real life. The answer is I joined a band, which is pretty cool. Um, and one of the things that inspired me to make a commentary basically about music as a whole instead of just me being in a band is the band itself is rather odd. It's not really in a genre at this point. As it's scheduled right now, it's a fusion of some metal type stuff and hardstyle. I'm going to be the one making the hardstyle and basically being the producer of the group. I already have a couple guys guitarists and a drummer, and we have a singer. All we need now is some guy who can play bass, which is rather difficult, believe it or not. Like, I can't find anyone anyone can play the bass. The problem is it's hard to find someone who actually owns one because I don't know, no one really does it. And I would buy a bass myself and just find someone to play it. The problem is I'm already having to put a lot of money down into buying my live DJ setup type stuff, which thankfully I had no idea where to start looking for this kind of thing. But my good friend Maddock, or Maxi ACL, helped me pick out some good stuff. And seeing as he is a professional DJ, or at least was, my bad, um, it was really helpful and it was really nice to have him around. So thank you, Matic. I'll link his channel in the annotation right here. There it is. Um, and yeah. So now that I'm done talking about that a little bit, I'm gonna talk about music as a whole. Um, I am not picky when it comes to genres in what I listen to. I am not very genre specific. I mean, I don't have any one set of music that I listen to. Right now, I'm very into listening to some of the more electronic type stuff, but not exclusively. I'm still listening to some indie rock, some ska, some whatever, There are a bunch of things that I'm trying to listen to right now. And, it's very interesting. I also find it very fascinating how people get into big arguments about hating music. What one person listens to doesn't really affect you, so I don't really see the justification in arguing over whether or not it's good. I'm not saying you can't argue over it, and I'm not one of the people who's willingly ignorant enough to run around on music videos saying, you're not allowed to comment on this because your opinion differs from me. I'm not that kind of person. But I will say that it does anger me to some extent that certain things get popular that are so obviously commercialized trash. And I don't mean they're awful in the terms of the way that they sound either. Call Me Maybe, let's say, by Carly Rae Jepsen, was a fairly decently put together song. The thing I hate about it is that it's basically it's just an all-around dumb song. It's about a romance that doesn't even really happen. And it wouldn't bother me that that song exists and that people like to it, but she made a couple $1 million off of that song. And very little effort was put into it. It has no lyrical it's just an all-around useless piece of garbage. Again, that wouldn't bother me, except for she's making millions off of it. And even that wouldn't bother me, except for that there are people who do put legitimate tons of work into what they do. They plan every note. Carly Rae Jepsen probably didn't even write that song, and she's got her name all over it. And there are people like Real Big Fish who most people haven't even heard of. I mean, I know a lot of you cooler people will have heard of them by now, but even a lot of people haven't. And that's seriously depressing, because those are people who quite literally invented a genre. They just kind of went out and made their own goddamn entire genre. They made it up. They didn't even really, it doesn't sound like they drew influence from really anything. It was just all theirs. And it's amazing that they can do that. And, they spend years probably on their albums. I'm trying to think. There's music that should be popular, is what I'm saying, and that deserves the amount of credit that's given for it. And there's music that ends up getting popular that should not get anything at all. And that's what bothers me. And the majority of pop charts, the majority of what gets onto Billboard's Top 100, are awful, awful songs by stupid, talentless hacks that get off telling basically an entire generation what should be considered cool to listen to, which is complete crap, complete and total mental retardation. We don't even have any rebellious figures in the media anymore. I mean, like, you go back to like the 90s, you had Marilyn Manson, you had Eminem, who made parents seriously scared that their kids were listening to this kind of stuff, and it was an act of rebellion to listen to these. We don't have that anymore. Who are kids going to look up to that now? Who's on the top 100? Lady Gaga? She dresses kind of funny. Big fucking deal. It's depressing. It depresses me to know that my generation is among the stupidest, most ignorant fucking people. And the fact that you're able to draw all of this from music, simply what we shove into our ear holes. Usually that's not a big deal, but in this case it's a reflection of just how idiotic our particular society has become. You look at, let's take the music example, for instance. You look that they listen to whatever just kind of sounds good. They don't care about what it means. They don't care about how much effort was put into it. It just has to sound kind of catchy. Now, what that says is that people don't care enough to look inward to things. They are bent on judging a book by its cover and are perfectly content with that, which boggles my mind. We have not had a generation that willfully ignorant since ever. We are the first. That is our claim to fame, that we are the stupidest motherfuckers ever to set foot on this planet. That went a lot deeper than I intended it to. See you guys later.